As we approach the Switch 2 presentation, I want to bring forth a possible new mode coming to Nintendo Switch 2. That mode being VR. This idea came from a discussion when we had on stream about possible Switch 2 attachments one can put on the topmost console, right? And one idea I had, like, oh, how about a VR headset attachment? And then suddenly the ball started rolling, and this is why I'm gonna do this video, because I need to rant this out. Now, first of all, why would Nintendo go back to doing VR? Didn't they do VR for Labo? Yes, but Nintendo does have a history of experimenting with virtual reality and stereoscopic 3D. Let's go over the history real quick. Nintendo made the Virtual Boy console. You know, Nintendo wants to not remember that console exists. They did make the Virtual Boy. What the Virtual Boy is, if you're not aware, is a really old console back. It was released in 1995. It was a 32-bit console. It displayed stereoscopic 3D, where the whole console was in black and red graphics, and most of the games messed with perspective to have the foreground being really in front of you compared to the background. So it kind of gave a 3D effect. It sold horribly. I believe it was like under $1 million. So yeah, it sold really bad. Build quality wasn't great. There weren't that many games, and the games aren't that crazy. But it'd be really funny they're on NSO one day. But yeah, no, it sold horribly. The next time I believe Nintendo messed with 3D was the successor to the DS, being the 3DS. It had a gimmick where the entire display of the console would go 3D, stereoscopic 3D, when you move this 3D slider up. It was kind of a weird gimmick. Not many games use that gimmick to its advantage, but it existed. And the latest attempt was the Nintendo Labo. One of the kits it had was a virtual reality kit. Many of these experiments have various degrees of success and failures. I believe probably the most successful one probably was the 3DS, since it was just built into the console, and some games used it, many didn't, but it was there, it was optional, right? Labo is a funny one, because I'm pretty sure in totality Labo sold like over $1 million, under $2 million. I'll have a source on screen, but the VR component is probably the most interesting to me, because Nintendo had to create many features for their first party games to support it. I think there are 3 games to my mind that support it: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Smash Bros. Ultimate. How the VR mode worked: you have the Switch tablet, right? You slide it into the Labo contraption kit thing. How it works is that the Switch screen itself is divided into 2 lenses, and each lens is then projected to your face, to your eyes, right? So it creates this 3D VR effect, right? It works very similarly to like the Google Daydream, if anyone remembers that, right? But now the results of it, very hit or miss. Super Mario Odyssey did run perfectly 60 FPS. The problem is that the resolution was really bad. Same goes to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, I think, Breath of the Wild, funnily enough, was the opposite, where the resolution was the same as handheld mode, but the frame rate was really meh, which is not good for VR because you need a consistent frame rate at all times. So it was like, yeah, you can get motion sickness real quick. Also didn't help that the VR Labo kit was like $80 MSRP. Definitely more now, but funnily enough, it's cheaper than dedicated standalone VR headsets because it's cardboard, but still, like, just spending $80 for like not great experience. Nah, it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. Granted, Labo VR did have dedicated mini games, but since it was mostly you know oriented towards kids, trying to build and stuff, yeah, it's just a different target audience, But now, the why should Nintendo do a VR mode for Switch 2 now? Why should they reinvest money to it? VR is just doing good right now. There has been a couple high-profile, successful VR games hitting the scene, like Batman: Arkham Shadows and Half-Life Alyx, And I believe if, this is a big if, but if the Switch 2 is as strong as the rumors make it to believe, I believe VR should be doable. I can see it going down 2 roads. A first-party implementation of a bog standard VR experience for Nintendo Switch games that don't require a dedicated first person mode. Like, again, look at Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. It just used 2 lens cutouts, rendering twice, and boom, got VR. Is it the greatest experience? No, but the groundwork is already there, you know? It's just up to like the user experience to be good. Like, the frame rate needs to be top notch, the resolution needs to be top notch. How is the user experience, right? The Joy-Cons, you know, it's okay, could be better. But hey, this is where the key to the puzzle comes in. This is why I believe VR mode is a thing. Earlier in February, there were patents coming out, publicly accessible patents of the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons, right? But hidden in plain sight are these weirdly shaped Joy-Cons. Kind of like barcode scanners, not gonna lie. Now, in face, you know, looking at it, right? These are really weird. Are these like Pro Controller Joy-Cons? Well, from looking at it, right? This style of controller doesn't really make sense if you're, you know, playing regularly, like on the couch, you know, using it as a typical Joy-Con, right? But then you look at it at a different lens. Like, wait a minute. If this was a VR controller, suddenly the pieces started to put together like, oh wait, this is probably not like a Pro Controller Joy-Con or the next Pro Controller. This is probably just a mock-up of what is potentially a VR controller. This is how I'm starting to see the pieces start to fall together here. Sony has a dedicated VR headset, right? They have dedicated VR controllers, right? I can see Nintendo going a different route where they might, your Switch is already a VR headset. All you need to buy is like the attachment, like the headrest attachment and the power bank that comes pre-included maybe. And boom. And maybe just, hey, you can buy these dedicated Joy-Cons if you want a more optimal experience, right? The only wrench in this idea is that in the same patent documents, this weird barcode looking scanner Joy-Con is also shown demonstrating the mouse mechanic, the mouse feature. And ergonomic wise, this does not make any sense at all. But it's probably just to demonstrate how, oh yeah, it can use the mouse system. I don't think this is a mouse controller. I think this makes more sense as a VR controller, if that makes any sense. Also, the size of this guy's hands are massive. God damn, this does not make any sense at all. But yeah, I can see Nintendo going down 2 routes if they do a VR attachment. Either A, they're gonna go in the route of, oh, your Switch is already a VR headset. You just need to buy the VR headset attachment, which comes with the power bank. Hopefully, it comes with these like VR controller Joy-Cons as well, and just package it as a bundle. And you just attach your Switch, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, you're good. Or they make a dedicated VR headset, kind of like PSVR 2 or like a MetaQuest, where you could buy a dedicated one, or you can go for the cheaper route where it's just like the attachment, that's it. Since this is Nintendo we're talking about and they want to keep things very uniform, I feel like they're gonna go to the attachment route. Again, these Joy-Cons and the headset attachment will all just be included in a bundle and they're gonna call it a day. Because if Nintendo can like justify the price point of this and have the experience be like good, I can see VR doing even better. But now, would this pan out or work at all? Will the user experience be good? I have no idea at all, to be honest. But I am excited about the possibility. Let's just put it at that. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about this possible Switch 2 VR mode. I am very excited to see how it will turn out, if it will happen at all. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye now.